America was discovered by Italian Catholics sailing for Spain. This is sailing for Spain and France. It was explored by English sailors in service of the Dutch. It was settled by Dutch fur traders, later by English Puritans. It was cultivated by West African slaves. It was then developed by various waves of immigrants, first Irish, then German, then Asian, then Italian, then Jewish, now again Hispanic. Unlike virtually every other country in the world, you can't tell an American just by looking at him. Also, unlike other countries, this lack of a specific national ethnic identity creates an urgent need for law enforcement and cultural assimilation. We must speak the same language. We must embrace the same traditions. We must value the same values, or else we will cease to be a country. Other than our traditions, our laws, and our values, there is very little that binds us together as a country. Simply put, unfettered immigration without assimilation means the end of the United States. The U.S. doesn't need to exist. It won't be around forever. It hasn't been around forever. Plenty of different peoples have occupied these lands. Some peoples conquered other peoples. Other peoples made treaties, negotiated, and purchased the land. Many did both. In America, there is no particularly ancestral claim to this land. In our time, America has become the freest, most equitable, most just, most prosperous country in the history of the world. Among the nations of the world, the United States has been the greatest blessing in history. This fact should go without saying. If the U.S. were not the greatest country in the world, if it were really some rotten place like the left wants to convince us it is, then why does everybody keep coming here? They must all be so crazy to go to that rotten place, America. They must be crazy. Or else, it's the greatest country in the history of the world. Our military protects the world order. We give away a full 50% more in foreign aid than any other nation. And we take in more immigrants than any other nation on earth by a factor of 4. 1 in 4 international immigrants from around the globe lives in the United States. There has never been a more generous country in history, specifically with regard to the question of immigration, than the United States. It's a shame that an entire political party in this country would be willing to risk all of that in a cynical attempt to grab more votes, would continue a violent and horrific open borders incentive just to grab more votes. Likewise, it is no wonder that every voting demographic across racial, ethnic, and partisan lines wants to protect the integrity and sovereignty of this great nation. There is nothing bigoted or immoral with wanting to protect our nation and our nation's unique character and sovereignty. There is nothing moral about frittering it all away on bankrupt ideologies and cynical vote-grabbing schemes. This land is my land, to quote half of a song from the early 20th century. This land is my land, and if this land is your land too, then you should want to protect it. Thank you very much.